So the next lesson we'll be talking about is lazy RDDs, and we'll see how Pyspark really tries to be very efficient with how it performs its queries. So let's again, create this Spark configuration. We're saying that we have, we'll allocate 2 cores, and then here we are connecting to our Spark cluster. Let's type in SC right from the beginning. And okay, so you can see that there's no current jobs. We haven't done anything yet on this Spark cluster. And we'll just follow along. So now we'll create our list of movies and we'll parallelize it. And then we can map through our list of movies. You can see what I'm doing here is I'm calling the title method. So in Python, the title method just capitalizes, okay? And then I'm calling this collect, which we'll see this returns our results. Once I call that, if I go back here, maybe refresh, you can see that I now do have a job that was complete. Let's click on it and click on this again. Okay. Okay, so we can see that there's 2 completed tasks. Now, if I go down here, you can see that, remember, we'll talk more about tasks later on, but task is, there's 1 task for each core. So this is, because we have this RDD that's partitioned twice, we can see that we split up our data set and then it's capitalizing across each of these partitions. Now let's see what happens if we do something a little bit different. I'll actually just do it. So this time I'll do moviesRDD.map.title, and let's do take 1. So take 1 means instead of show me all the results, just show me the first result. So you can see that it again capitalized, right, my data. But while collect, I'm getting back all the results. Here I'm just getting back the first result. Okay, so now you can see that there's this new job. And this time, what's important is that there's only 1 task completed. So even if you look at the event timeline here, actually I think we have to maybe click on this. And now, you see this? Previously we saw like 2 lines occurring, right? 1 for each of the tasks occurring across each of the partitions. But this time, there's only 1 task performed. Why is that? Well, remember, we only asked for 1 result at the end. So this means that Pyspark did not have to go through all the movies and perform a capitalization on them. Instead, it can just capitalize the first movie and be done. And that's what it did, okay? So Pyspark is kind of able to figure out what result you want and then say, oh, you're saying, map through all the movies, but in the end, you're only selecting 1. So I'm not actually going to capitalize all these movies. I'm just going to capitalize that individual movie that we're going to get the result of. That's pretty nice. So here I just show that, right? And how does it achieve that? Well, all right, let's take a look. So do this movies RDD again. Okay, so this is my RDD. And we can map lambda movie, do movie.title. And this time we're gonna pay attention to something. So notice that the map function doesn't actually return anything to us. So what that means is that Pyspark has not taken anything yet, done anything yet. So in fact, if I go back to jobs, you see there's still just those 2 jobs run so far. Nothing new has occurred. It's not until you say, show me the results, that it will actually kick off a job and start doing any type of transformations. So if I do now take 2, now at this point, if I go back to the jobs, that's when it actually performs things. So why is that valuable? Well, because Pyspark, when you say map, it's not really going to map. It's only when it sees this final step here. And at this final step, it can see, oh, how many of these records do you really want? And therefore, it can coordinate the work it's doing or limit the work it's doing accordingly. So you can it might be a little confusing because it seems like some of our functions that we call don't do any, don't really kick off a task or a job, but other of them do. So let's be explicit about which ones do what. So it turns out there are two different kinds of methods in Pyspark. There's transformations and actions. So transformations, or let's start with actions. Actions are the things that actually kick off a job and return results to us. So what are examples of this? Well, the collect method, right? Show me all the results. Show me all the movies that begin with the letter D. The take method. So you can even just say movies rdd.take, I believe, like give me the first two. All right, let's say like give me the first three. All right, so these return results, collect, take. There's one more you can do, like count. All right, these are all called actions. And actions actually take action. And you can see we have a new job for each one of those actions that we called. By contrast, transformations do not take action by themselves. So if we do movies.rdd.filter, show me the movies. So just kind of movies that begin with the letter P. Sorry, I should do movie, that first letter begins equals P. Right? There's nothing that actually occurs. There's no result, and we began with 7 jobs, or I guess 8 if you include the 0, and that's still where we are. If we tack on something else, like then map through each of these resulting movies and do our movie.title, again, still 8 jobs. Nothing has occurred. It's only when we say, okay, now show me the results. All right. So we can see that because Pyspark is dividing up these functions into actions, which actually take action, and transformations, which do not, it can essentially delay execution and figure out at the very end what steps to perform and how to basically do the minimal amount of work to show you the results that you're asking for. So that's how Pyspark is able to achieve efficiency. Now, we've talked a little bit, about these ideas of jobs and tasks, and we're going to be more explicit about them in the next lesson.